Simon, it was an unfortunate, disappointing defeat against York on Sunday. We've spoken in recent weeks about the need to get away to a good start. We managed to get that, but then obviously in the second half things sort of dropped off a bit. Is it disappointing the fact that you got what you wanted and then couldn't kick on from that point?
Yeah, I thought the first 20 we were really good as we've been. Completing high, kicking well into the right areas. I think, as it has been for a while, our lapses get punished, whether that's a lapse and we give a poor concentration penalty in D or a lapse in defence. They've been punished with tries, so that brought us closer together at the half-time mark, but still felt comfortable and in control. I think we got the penalty and went up. And then, we're in the ascendancy, it becomes an arm wrestle and we're quite comfortable doing all right, and then in one moment they're energised and we're deflated on Towers' breakaway try, and then after that, and before that as well, our end of sets were really poor. We ended up playing a lot of the game out of our half because we couldn't get organised enough to put the ball in the right area to start our sets. So yeah, disappointing, but credit to York, they were desperate, weren't they? And they played a smart game, a completion game, as you'd expect, with the number of changes they've got in their team. And in the end, we got what we deserved because we didn't do our bit. Very frustrating for all of us. But yeah, that's highlighted a couple of areas you just really need to improve on in this game.
The fact that they'd played 3 games in 7 days as well was mentioned in pre-match. They maybe didn't show the signs of that fatigue that we expected. Does that make it even more frustrating and hard to take that they were possibly there for the taking if we stuck with them a bit longer?
It's not impossible for us to play 3 in a week, and they've obviously proved that, and they got 1 from 3. And they were wilting, they were wobbling. We had them in that. Physically we had them on the ropes really, and as I say, in that moment we come up with a poor decision on our play 5, and they go 70 metres or whatever it was and score, and we're deflated off the back of it, and that was a game changer for me. So yeah, it's disappointing, really disappointing, but look, we're in it together, dig our heels in, and we're rolling to the next one.
Yeah, momentum's a massive thing in rugby league, gets spoken about all the time. When we edge ahead with that Louis Jouffret penalty, and then maybe try and stick with them so they might crack on energy and things of that nature. So for them to break away and get that momentum back, do you think we sort of handed them a bit of impetus and a bit of enthusiasm?
It gave them a bit of energy and deflated us. And at the minute, because you can't hide from it, confidence is low. We're not playing as well as we could, and when you come up against adversity, it's a little bit harder to overcome stuff. So we need to be able to just block out any sort of external pressures and control what we can, and our kicking game, as I've mentioned, is something we really can control, but you need to be thinking about it 2 or 3 plays before, not when the ball's on its way to you, which has been a problem. So again, that's something we can fix within our gift to control that. So we'll be tweaking things a little bit to make sure it's very easy to get that done this week.
Would you say that's down to a lack of leadership from the halves in steering the team around the field, that they get they're not thinking about these end of sets and building pressure?
Yeah, a little bit of lack of game management, and also Louis' strengths are probably not game management. Neither are Kyle. Kyle's not played half consistently since probably 2012 or something like that. He's been playing hooker for a long time. So yeah, we're not asking him to do something they can't do, but it's something that hasn't been a familiar or a role they've had to take. So obviously Joe has taken the lead on that for the last little while for us at Halifax, and we are missing him on that front, but it's within their power, they're capable of doing that. We just need to be thinking about it, not just them, because there's other contributors. We want to kick from a certain spot to make sure we've got options, but if a back rower passes to a centre and we end up in a different spot, then they've had an effect on it as well, and that's happening as well at times. So we just need to concentrate. That's a big thing for us, and that goes with our discipline as well. So we did a good job in the game in the first half, putting them in corners, particularly the first 20. The second quarter, there's a couple of penalties coming out of there where we just take one extra step, eager to go and make the next tackle. Not doing it on purpose, of course, but that lack of concentration means they're putting the ball 40 metres downfield. And then when we get it back, we're on our line again. So that cycle starts again. So yeah, it's something that we need to change.
Speaking of things that need to change, you made a few changes to the team. Ben Tibbs dropping out, Maya Fanu coming in, Dan Murray dropping out of the side, and Brandon Moore down to 18th man. When you look back on those changes, do you feel they paid off in the way that you wanted them to, or is it?
Look, there? We'll all be judging the outcome. So we lost, so we'll say no. I didn't think we got Mahe into the game and used the attributes he's got. well at all, and we didn't see the best of him, unfortunately. But you're sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, the Mahe Fanua that we've seen, he's very dangerous, but you've got to put him in the positions to be dangerous. And you know, same goes to the other players. If we win, that's probably not a question, is it? But that is what it is. It's a squad game, and when we're not playing well, I can't just leave the team the same all the time, because again, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And there's other people, particularly in some positions, who won't get dropped when they should, because we haven't got the depth in those areas. But in areas where we have got depth, we will make changes.
Any injuries off the back of that game at York? Obviously, we speak of damaged pride and things of that nature.
Yeah, all that. But Lannan almost didn't play. Him and Kev collided pre-game, which almost knocked him out of the game. He's struggling a bit with that. Other bits and bobs, just usual stuff really, nothing I don't think to be alarmed about. But yeah, a few decisions to make again, because again, we haven't got the result we wanted, so we can't be the same again, can we?
Moving on to this weekend, then it don't get any easier. The famous slope is upon us. Mount Pleasant, Batley away. We've had some joy and some disappointments there over the years. What are you expecting from Batley? Where do their strengths lie this year, and where do we need to ensure we're better to make sure that we can get this victory and turn things around?
What am I expecting from Batley? Consistent way of playing. They do them well. They grind. They kick well, kick high and hang it in corners and make you start in areas that are a little less favourable, I suppose. And that's our biggest area of improvement that will help us this week, is making sure we get our kicking in order. But look, they're a good team. They're confident at the moment. Some very good players in amongst, obviously. They've been doing a great job now for a couple of years there, and they've had that nice, the chemistry, I think, has been right for them. They're going well. They're not doing anything spectacular or, what's the word I'm looking for? Flamboyant, yeah. They play a good brand of rugby. They throw the ball around. I like to think we play quite similar. But yeah, they've got an ability to stay in games, haven't they? So you've got to make sure you do your bit to make sure you're in it when it matters. Because Batley certainly will. With
the league going the way it has this year, everyone's beating everyone, and the results all over the place. Underdogs knocking off big teams and things of that nature. I know it's not your favourite thing to talk about, the term must win. At what point do you see that you need to be getting these points?
I think we've said it now for the last couple of weeks, Faz. Every one of them's a must-win. And whether I like it or not, or like the term or not, it's like that almost every week when we play for Halifax. But yeah, look, I think there's a few twists and turns to come yet. There's still 10 rounds left. There's still a lot to go at, and you know, we've all got to play each other again, I suppose. There's lots of opportunities for teams to pick up points and also lose points. But for us, look, we all want to win. It's not through lack of effort, certainly not. But yeah, I do think our confidence had a little bit of a knock. We're missing Joe more than we'd like to admit. We don't talk about it too often because try to focus on those that are on the field, but we are missing Joe. But yeah, we are getting to the stage now where if we don't start executing on game day our individual roles and game plan and such, you know, you end up with a season to forget. I've been here now since 15, end of 15 I came back. They had a great year. 15, 16 not so good, a couple of good ones, bad ones. Sports like that, and in a very competitive division, which it is this time. Every year it seems to get more competitive. If you don't get it right, you get burned, and we've been burnt a bit this year. And whether we'll learn our lessons quick enough between now and the end of the year remains to be seen, but it's something we definitely need to learn about moving forward, because with all the changes in the game, everyone wants to be part of the party, don't they? So everyone's going to be trying the best to get better, and if we want to go with them, we need to pick it up.
You mentioned confidence being low. Is there anything you can do in training or around the place to sort of lift the boys, or is it just you pull yourself out of it through positive results and hard work on the field?
Positivity, encouragement and hard work and reps, I suppose. Faz, that's the only way I know. When you're struggling, you just got to work out a little bit harder, and if you keep sticking at it and you're consistent and persistent, it will turn for you. But it's hard. It's one of them things I've said before. I've described it in the way that it's sort of in the wind. When you've got it, it's inexplicable. It's just there. And then when you haven't got it, sometimes it's hard to grab hold of it. It's off. So you have to work hard to earn it all over again. But individually, sticking together is important. As a collective for our group, sticking together is important, because obviously, although no one on the outside wants to put any extra pressure on the boys, he does put pressure on them. They all hear it, the human. and they are trying. We're just not quite icing it at the moment, and it's frustrating for all of us, I suppose. And I think that's just the general message: stick at it, stick together, and just keep working hard through it. Really, that's all we can do.
Yeah, it's not just the players on the field that seem low on confidence as well, the fans in the stands. There seems to be a bit of a lull there. Going to Batley this weekend, they've got a great offer on adults, £10, concessions £10, kids are free. How important is it that the fans stick with the players on the field and get across there in numbers and make some noise and try and lift the boys in only the way that they can?
If you can answer the question for me there, Faz. I think our fans have been great this year. You know, thick and thin we spoke about before, been good. They've travelled to Batley well before. We've had good and bad there, as you've said. We always have a good following. It's not too far, so hopefully we can get plenty turn up. But listen, if you want to target anyone, throw it at me. That's the book will stop with me in the end, won't it? They are trying. They're doing their very best for me, for themselves, for the club. It's just not been going that well, but it can turn because it's within our gift. We don't. It's not going to take a miracle. We also don't have a magic wand to perform that miracle either. We just have to stick together and stick to the task, and the quality in the room will come through at some point. Hopefully this week.
And finally then, we've had a few players out on loan in recent weeks with the way that the team's been going. Is there any sort of maybe possibilities of them coming back in or seeing some dual reg, anything of that nature in the squad this week?
I don't think any loans are coming back this week. Might be a couple of changes anyway in amongst, and I doubt we'll have dual reg this week now.